Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the 105 leFH18B2, the French Tier 5 Premium SPG that we know and love as VP La Pew Pew. You might know it as a leFH, a leaf blower, or even a leFH. This one is located on the south spawn of Murovanka, and it's under the command of Andromedaa of No Retreat, No Surrender. Game on! Well, you can see the side-by-side skill came into effect straight away, because he's actually very close to the gorilla on his team, but he's going to change that because, of course, Andromedaa knows that Arty can't really stay together because two tracers are much easier to spot than just one, and he doesn't want to get suddenly spotted by the enemy. Andromeda's a regular feature on the channel. He's been on before. At the moment, he's looking at the back of the map, trying to see if there was any movement by the enemy Arty, any trees knocked over, which would give a clue as to where he's located. But we've spotted an enemy tank nearby. Oh, just missed the leopard. It's a tier 5 game with tier 4 tanks. The leopards dive for cover, and behind that tree, it's very difficult to get a shot of him. We've also spotted a few in the Magic Forest. A T-28 coming a long way forward, rounds out. Oh, has the good sense to stop when he got to that barrier. You can't really see that unless you're using Battle Assistant. So, yes, the Andromedaa didn't see that there was a bank there, and obviously he was going to stop on the reverse side of the bank, and he did. But now he's out the game because he stayed still too long. Either that or he got tracked, and now he's out the game. One accurate shot from this 105mm can be enough to end a tier 4 or tier 5 tank straight away. 410 alpha, 53mm pen, 1.91 meters on the burst radius, which makes it fairly deadly to enemy tanks. You can see he fired that one before he was fully dialed in, but he had a feeling the guy was going to pull back, and he was right. And he managed to nail him with the next shot. He anticipated how far back the guy went, and he moved straight forward into the aim point and got wiped out. Lots of enemy tanks still there to kill, but only one kill so far for Andromedaa, but he probably will get more. He certainly had a hand in some of the other kills going forward. Well, that leopard is moving about a fair amount, but he's doing that to actually make shots. Oh, and he got tracked there, I think. Or did he? He stopped for a moment, but he is fairly low on hit points, so if we get a near miss, could be enough to take him out. And that was very close, and the leopard's gone. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't appear to be any remaining heavy tanks on this side of the battlefield except the enemy, and they're pushing ahead. And unfortunately, that means our gorilla is in a bit of a pickle because he's moved a bit further forward, but he's way over on the west side of the map. And now if he stays there, he's more than likely going to get wiped out. The gorilla doesn't have a very long view range. This Arty does, though. It's 390 meters. And although we can't see the enemy at the moment, we can probably see the destruction that they're causing when they knock over anything. Except there's nothing which actually causes destruction between us and the enemy. So it looks like we're going to see them at maximum range, and I'm hoping that one of the enemy tanks, or one of our teammates rather, is actually going to go ahead and spot for us, because if they don't, then this cap's going to fall. And you can see the gorilla's managed to drive past us, and he's actually headed for the east side of the map through the tree line. I'm pretty certain we're going to see the enemy tanks turn up soon. The M10 and the Stug have decided to come back, whereas the Matilda, the 14 TP and the T28 decided to actually go for the enemy cap area. And the first enemy tank we see is actually behind us. And he had to actually turn the entire vehicle around, and he didn't come out of overhead mode. He just changed the direction of the vehicle by spinning it round and shooting. So yes, that would have been a really good shotgun kill. Pretty frightening, though, when you see an enemy tank go behind you and you expected them to be ahead of you. Okay, well, we do have an enemy tank in sight now, and we're dialing in on the KB1, direct hit first shot. And he did get spotted, so they know where we are. We really do need to back away because we're going to start taking rounds from the enemy. We just blocked a shot from a Hetzer, and that was a 105mm. We're taking rounds from the KB1, and we're blocking them because they're hitting the tracks. The Hetzer just hit the tracks. And that's a kill shot on the KB1. Now we really need to find out where that Hetzer is. And he's still bouncing rounds off us. There he is. That's a 105mm main gun on that Hetzer, and he is bouncing rounds off our tracks. He's aiming for the wrong spot, and, well, it's hilarious when you've had 3 shots, which combined damage is more than your actual hit points. Because remember, these 105mm rounds are 350 alpha, and the hit points of this vehicle is 340. He's just wiped out the Hetzer, and that's his 4th kill. Now, one clean shot to take out the bathtub, and he just misses him. But the Matilda comes to the rescue, and that just leaves 2 enemies left, the Arty, which means now we can move forward and go to the other end of the map. It's a slow drive because this vehicle only does 28 kilometers an hour, but that was a fast and furious moment, and the enemy just basically broke themselves on our shore. They just had no chance of surviving. They were just coming under sustained fire. The M10 helped out a great deal. So did the Stug on our team as well. Unfortunately, he did get nailed in the end, but we nailed that Hetzer. That guy's going to be regretting this game for a long time, to have so many shots fail to hit the target. In fact, he only got 1 shot into us that actually did damage, and that was only for 172. So, yes. Oh, well, actually, no, that was our shot on him. Sorry, the wrong way around. It wasn't a shot into us. He bounced that shell. I'm looking back through the list, and he bounced that one, and he bounced that one. So 3 shells. So 4 shells from the Hetzer. Or am I wrong? We can see where one of the Artys is. The Fifi is spotted, but the other one, which happens to be an SU-122, is in the bushes. One more shot to kill this Leffy. This Fifi La Pew Pew. He fires the round in. Oh, he nails him! What a shot! And we know the SU-122 was amongst the trees nearby where the Fifi was. I think he's looking too far to the north. The Fifi is actually a lot closer, and I think that M10's probably going to spot him first, because he'll get a proximity spot when he gets within 50 meters. But we're looking at the end of the map. I'm wondering if the M10's driven past him, or if that SU-122 relocated. We did see the tracer coming out near where the enemy Fifi was, and he moved away from the Fifi moved away from the SU-122 position, but he was amongst the trees. I think he was actually in grid square B1, or oh, he moved all the way over there. Ramps out. Well, he managed to drive back. I'm sure he managed to get back, but he's out the game now, and that's victory. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was a first-class tanker for Andromeda of No Retreat, No Surrender in the 105 leFH18B2. He managed to get a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. In fact, he ended up with 5, which is 1 short of a Top Gun and 1/3 of the enemy team. He also picked up a shell proof for blocking more damage, exceeding the hit points of his own vehicle. In fact, he blocked more damage and took more damage than 3 times the hit points of his own vehicle in that one. And he got a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 16, and he got a Starks medal as well, and he got that by destroying 2 enemy vehicles, surviving the battle, having received 2 enemy hits, and blocking or actually receiving more damage than 2/3 of the hit points of his own vehicle. As I said, he potentially took 3 times the hit points of his own vehicle in damage or block damage. Let's have a look at the win rate. 3,754, which is Super Unicum standard. Let's have a look at team score. Well, the highest damage was 1,422 hit points, and that went to Andromeda. The second highest damage went to the Panzer IV Ausführung H, who managed 1,089. 1,040 went to the Leopard on the enemy team. Sadly, it's not a high caliber for Andromeda because it wasn't 20% of the enemy hit pool. But he did get the highest number of kills as well. He got 5 kills in the game. The Bathtub, the S35CA on the enemy team, managed to get 3. And so did their Fifi, who also picked up a Defender medal for resetting the cap. And their M5 Stuart got 2 kills, and he got an Orlix medal. That's for killing 2 enemy tanks or tank destroyers in a battle in a light tank, where you are 1 tier lower than the tanks you kill. And so he's a tier 4 in a tier 5 game, and he wiped out 2 tier 5 opponents. When it came to base XP, yep, I'm afraid it's definitely Andromeda. I don't say afraid. He's very good. He's actually got the top in all 3 columns. He got 983, just missing out on 1,000 on this one. The second highest was the M10 RBFM, one of the other survivors of the battle. He managed 603. And the third highest was the Stug 3 Ausführung B, and that was another of the tanks who actually came over to defend the cap area whilst the others were making their way towards the cap. The only other survivor of the battle happened to be that gorilla who we saw briefly rushing past us, and he realized that he was on the wrong side of the battlefield and needed to get behind us, being rapidly chased by that 14 TP who suddenly met a very bitter end. He only realized at the last moment that he was actually sitting directly behind that Fifi, and he did fire at Andromeda, but it was just too late because Andromeda managed to get his gun round and wipe the guy out with 1 clean shot. Let's have a look at detail. 29 shots fired, which is more than half his ammo, but he still had 21 rounds left at the end of the game. He got 9 direct hits on the enemy and 3 penetrating shots and 11 splash. Let's have a quick look and see which ones do we think he penetrated. Well, the 14 TP was so close when he hit him that his shell would have gone straight through him anyway, right through the side, because 14 TPs only weigh 14 tons. They are very, very lightweight, and they don't really have strong armor. The other one he penetrated was the Hetzer, and of course Hetzers don't have much armor except on the front glacis, and that is very well angled, and that's how they manage to block shells. If you've ever seen the Hetzer at the Tank Museum, you go up and feel the side of it and see how thick it is. It really is only thin enough to block the bullets and shrapnel that are being lobbed at it, but it's really not strong enough on the sides, the rear, or the roof to protect itself against enemy shells. So yes, they are bound to carve their way straight through. And the other one must be that Valentine. Yes, it is. He landed the shell right on top of the Valentine, and of course it penetrated straight through and wiped the guy out. Going back to the detail, we can see that he got 1,422, of which 757 were up more than 300 meters. He received 8 hits from the enemy in that game, only 2 of which actually penetrated, and both of them came from the KV-1. The 6 non-penetrations came from the Hetzer, who didn't penetrate him once, and yet he blocked 3 shots from that guy with a 105mm gun. That's 350 alpha, and his hit points are only 340, so 3 times his armor, which is 340, is 1,020, and he blocked damage. What else? No, it is 300, so it's slightly less than 3 times his hit points. Just 25 hit points less than 3 times he blocked. 7 enemy vehicles damaged, 5 kills, 684 hit points of damage assistance. That's from the trackings that he managed to do, and our teammates then benefited from it. He earned a profit of 89,802 credits in the game, including a 50,000 mission completion bonus. And he also picked up 7,964 experience points, including 5,900 for mission completion. He says he feels sorry for that 14 TP. As you saw in the replays, because I thought it was so funny that the guy drove directly behind him. I couldn't believe that happened, that the 14 TP would go straight past and only detect him when he was actually that close, proximity close. But the reason was that Andromeda was very nicely, snugly in that bush. Nobody was going to see him until they were really close because he had camo skills. So the moment the guy got close to him, yes, he auto-detected him, but it was too late for him because, of course, we could spin that Arty round and then get that 105mm round to bear on him. And yes, that just completely blew him to pieces when it happened. Very funny thing to see. So I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.